All right, let's just jump right in. The core idea from Grant Cardone is, well, it's pretty simple, but man, is it a tough pill to swallow. He says if you want a life that's actually extraordinary, you have to totally, completely reject the idea of being average. It's one or the other. There's no in between.
Society has all these names for people who really go for it, right? Cardone's heard them all. Work addict, compulsive, never satisfied. And let's be honest, those words are almost always meant as an insult. It's like a subtle way of saying, hey, could you, slow down a bit? You're kind of making everyone else look bad.
But here's the big question, the one that flips everything on its head. What if we've got it all wrong? What if that relentless drive, the thing that keeps you up at night thinking about your goals, what if that's not a flaw you need to fix? What if it's actually your superpower? So to really get where he's coming from with this whole obsession thing, you got to look at his story. I mean, this philosophy wasn't cooked up in some think tank. Nope. It was forged in the absolute fire of a personal meltdown. And understanding that, well, it's key to understanding everything else. Imagine this. He's a kid, life is looking pretty good. His dad was totally obsessed with giving his family everything, and they just hit that middle-class dream, the house on the lake. And then just like that, his dad dies. The whole dream just shatters overnight. His mom, now with 5 kids to raise alone, immediately flips into survival mode, totally focused on just keeping their heads above water. Now, he hated living in that fear, that scarcity, but all that ambition, all that energy he had inside him, with nowhere to go, it went sideways, badly. He became a problem teen, and by his early 20s, he found something new to obsess over: drugs. It was a daily thing, totally debilitating. It left him with no money, no direction, just a shell of who he could have been. And then, he hit rock bottom, hard. As a direct result of the life he was leading, he got attacked. I mean, it was so brutal his own mom couldn't even recognize his face. And the crazy part? Even that wasn't enough to pull him out of the spiral. He was completely broken, financially, emotionally, you name it. So at 25 years old, he finally gets himself into rehab. But listen to this. On his way out the door, this is what his counselor tells him. Just imagine hearing that. Being told that your very nature is a defect, that your drive is part of the disease, that the best you can hope for is to just not do drugs. Talk about a message of complete and utter hopelessness. And miss right here? This is the turning point. He's sitting in his apartment after rehab, and he makes a choice. He thinks, you know what? That counselor, he was kind of right, but also dead wrong. Yeah, he had an addictive personality. He was obsessive. But instead of trying to suppress it, he decided to weaponize it. He aimed all of that raw energy at a sales job, a job he couldn't stand, by the way, and just decided he was going to be the absolute best. Okay, so that whole personal story, that's really the bedrock of his entire philosophy. Because he argues that what that counselor told him, that's just a really intense version of the same message society whispers to us all the time. Hey, just be average. It's safer. It's better. I mean, think about it. How often do you hear stuff like, just slow down, or life's too short, or be grateful for what you've got? And look, it sounds nice, right? It sounds reasonable. But the obsessed mindset takes that script and just rips it up. It says, no, don't slow down, speed up. It's not about being content with the way things are. It's about showing your gratitude by going out and reaching your absolute max potential. And this is precisely why he thinks being average is so incredibly dangerous. I mean, look at these numbers. For a huge chunk of people, that so-called safe middle-class life is a total illusion. It's living in constant stress, just one flat tire, or one medical bill away from falling off a cliff. So for Cardone, average isn't safety, it's a trap. Man, this is such a key insight. Think about this for a second. When someone tells you, oh, you should be more realistic, or don't you think that's a little ambitious? It's almost never actually about you. It's about them. It's about them making peace with the fact that they gave up on their own big dreams. People who are actually crushing it will never, ever tell you to aim lower. They'll tell you to aim higher. Okay, so if you're going to tap into this obsessive energy, you can't just point it in any random direction. It's like a rocket engine, right? It needs fuel. And for Cardone, that fuel is one thing: a deep, powerful, driving purpose. Your purpose is basically your why. It's your North Star. It's the reason that gets you out of bed in the morning. Think about it. Cardone's obsession with sales early on, it wasn't because he loved selling cars. No way. His purpose, his why, was to make damn sure his family would never have to feel that fear and scarcity he grew up with. That's the kind of why that lets you blast through any obstacle.
So, how do you actually find that purpose? Well, Cardone says you need to start asking yourself some really big questions, and you need to do it all the time. Just write down whatever comes up, no judgment. Things like, what really gets me fired up? What's that one thing I've always dreamed of doing? And here's the killer question. If you knew without a shadow of a doubt that you could not fail, what would you do?
All right, so let's say you've started to figure out your purpose. That's great. But how do you keep that flame lit every single day? How do you make sure you don't forget it? Well, this is where Cardone gets super practical with a technique he uses every day. The process itself is surprisingly simple, but it's incredibly powerful. So step 1, you write down your goals every morning when you wake up and every night before you sleep. Step 2, and this is huge, you write them in the present tense, like you've already got them. So not, I want to be, but I am. You're basically training your brain to see it as a done deal. And step 3, don't write down little to-do list items. Write down goals that scared you a little. Goals that seem ridiculously out of reach from where you're standing today.
At the end of the day, what this all comes down to is scripting your own life. You're not just daydreaming about a better future. You are actively, consciously writing that future into existence every single day until reality has no choice but to catch up to the vision in your head. So let's just end with this simple question for you. After all this, what is that one thing, that one goal, that one purpose that you're going to give yourself permission to get completely, totally, unapologetically obsessed with, starting today? What is it?